Greetings, Commanders. Welcome back to part 2. James, are you still there? Is it still working?
Yes, everything is still
Excellent.
working
Brilliant.
fine. So I just hope we might actually find each other again.
Yeah, I've just jumped back into Impeccable and I see no one, which is typical because I've picked a ship loadout which cost me money. It looks like I'm on the odd location where you're put at a further distance from the planet. But I've got plenty of money. And
I'm on my own with one Mr. Kevin Hobbs, but
okay, let's give it a go. I will keep re-entering this damn scenario until I found you. Now, we've obviously found each other ttonight, so we've got no networking issues with each
yeah.
other. That's definitely working. But we've got some
I
other
actually
problems.
I can't remember when it was, but there was a point where you were streaming before and you had Alien with you, and someone killed you, and I said in the chat. You wanted to know who it was who killed you. You're welcome. And you didn't quite twig on the fact that killed you.
No, I didn't. I didn't at all. Not until you just said it then.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. That's how I am sometimes. Gullible and naive.
I didn't want to say it so
so
unsubtly. But
I'm seeing targets. Have we got? They got the Impeccable. No other human players at the moment.
Yeah, I think I should probably start looking around for other players as well, because, like I said, I'm in a scenario with Kevin Hobbs, but it is literally just Kevin Hobbs in a navigation beacon.
Ah, right. So you might have
no
to
Impeccable here, no
might have to
AI,
reload.
nothing. So.
Do you know, I always find that as soon as I pick one of the loadouts which takes no credits, is completely free. I'm just kind of like testing the waters. You can guarantee I find people then, and then I'll jump out to get a loadout which is better, and I'll end up losing everything. It's just typical. Getting destroyed.
Yeah, that happens every time I use the Bounty Hunter class, which is my sort of ideal one. Oh, I've got an Impeccable.
Oh, that's a good start.
But my standard class and the one that I'm using right now is the Eyeball, which is only 100 credits. So actually, sort of jumping in and out of scenarios isn't too taxing.
Too costly, yeah. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. Actually, using the Eyeball is a pretty good one. I think the which is the one with the dual pulse lasers, actually. It's about 1,300 credits, so I can have a quick look at that. Okay, I've got the Starfield.
That actually raises a good question. What do you think of the changes to gimbaled weapons?
I actually quite like it. For me, it makes it more realistic, and it's not too much of a drop down in their abilities to make them nerfed, because I know everyone's saying, "Oh, completely nerfed them. They're too good. They're too good." I think because the only thing they've really done is they've slowed down how quickly they can snap to a target. Before it was kind of an instantaneous. As soon as that target was in your cone of vision, it would just snap to it and start tracking it, sort of thing. But now obviously it does this thing.
There was no way they could escape.
Yeah, and now they've got this thing where the kind of the motor kind of like has to kind of move over and target it in a realistic time frame. So that I really like, actually. I think that works really well. I haven't got an issue with it at all. So yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm not bothered by it at all.
I would absolutely agree with you. There is always going to be people who would say it's too much, but that's just the people who always get killed by them.
Yeah, and I think to counter it, I think the fixed weapons are actually more powerful by default now. And if you go back and you read the newsletters and the information that has been released anyway, they do actually say in them, like, because you see on the menus you've got different classifications. You've got class 3, class 4, different groups of weapons and whatnot. They do actually say that ships will have different size hard points, and whilst you could probably fit a class 4 beam laser in here which is not gimbaled, there's no way you're going to be able to fit a class 4 gimbaled beam laser on a Sidewinder, because the hardpoint just isn't big enough. So there's always that kind of balance there, that in order for it to be a gimbaled weapon, it's going to take up a bit more space, and you're going to have a bigger hardpoint to put it on. So it's going to work out. At the moment, we're just seeing all these variations which don't make much difference to us at the moment, but when you're actually going to have that option to go in and choose all of the various loadouts yourself, which is the next alpha phase, exciting, it's obviously it's going to make a lot more sense to everyone, really. I think it'll start to sink in then. Yeah, this isn't just a number or a value, it is actually something meaningful.
My scenario just ended.
Okay, we obviously weren't in the same one. So I'm in a scenario with Impeccable. I'll wait and see if you pop in. I'm just going to sit by the beacon for a second. I'll just check the chat. Make sure I'm not missing anyone.
Anyone else having serious problems watching tonight? I couldn't get the stream or chat to work at all for about 15 minutes, says
Oh,
Wolf
I
359.
apologise for that. I know. Oh, actually, I did receive a notification that Twitch were doing some maintenance to their servers at some point.
Yeah, I got that last night. I was streaming
Yeah.
last night. I got that.
Yeah, which is a bit of a pain. So it might mean if you were on a different server there, Locutus, if you're on a different location in the world somewhere, you might be on one of the servers that they've just switched from maintenance. So I apologise for that. Yeah, we've been having lots of problems with Twitch, but hopefully they are fixing things and it won't be bugging up the chat every time from now on. So hopefully that will solve that problem for you.
Hooray.
There we go.
Last night I actually had a fairly successful stream, actually. By successful, I don't mean the number of people that turned up. Actually, that was pretty much an all-time low.
Oh, that's a shame.
But what we achieved, though, it was
I saw
me
you
and Tom,
creating, was
me
it
and
wireless
Spencer, and-
transmitters or something? Sorry.
Yeah. So we were playing Modern City Challenge, which is a YouTube series we've got going currently, based in modded Minecraft. And it's a challenge that was set by someone on the Minecraft forums.
Okay.
And it's basically to have a modded game with at least 2 specific mods, and then you could add any other mods you want, really.
Okay.
So we've added things like the portal gun mod, which is a really, really cool mod. Wireless redstone, Thorncraft, a really famous one. Yeah, some really cool stuff. And it basically gives you restrictions and requirements to move on to the next stage. And yeah, so at the moment we're on a stage just before we're allowed to use diamonds, which is obviously a pretty big restriction.
Yeah, crikey.
And I was just building, because we got the portal gun mod. One of the requirements for this stage that we're working on at the moment is to build a copy of Aperture Laboratories.
Oh my
with
word.
2 test chambers. Yeah. So I was building that, and I got some pretty good progress on the first test chamber from the first Portal game.
Crikey.
The sort of, the one with the glass chamber with the bed in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm building a replica of that at the moment, and it's pretty cool, actually. I'm really happy with how that's coming along.
Well, that's going to take a lot of work. I mean, I did notice
only 2 people were there watching.
Well, I thought I'd pop in and say hi, But no, I did like the list of all the list of mods you said you put on there. I mean, I did say
it's pretty extensive.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I played around with a few mods myself, but I haven't installed a great deal of mods. Oh, I just bumped into that ship there. Damn it. I think I said to you on there about the was it Sonic Ether's Unbelievable Shaders mods. I don't know if you've tried those.
Yeah, I have.
They are amazing. I mean, they absolutely
incredible.
Yeah, they muller every machine I've seen it run on. And you have to have because was it Starkiller or was it someone else who was on there with you last night?
Yeah, it was Starkiller.
Yeah. And he was saying this, you got the obligatory, was it Optifine and Forge on there, and yeah, like without that you just cannot play with those shaders anyway. So it was just so bad, the performance of those things. But no, they look absolutely incredible. It's fantastic.
They made a new add-on quite recently, and by quite recently I mean the last month or 2. They added volumetric clouds.
Oh yes, I hacked into the things to add that on, and they look stunning.
I bet you did.
Yeah. I saw the little tweak on it. It's like, you just need to change these lines of code. It's like, okay then, I will. I had to give it a try. No, it looks absolutely fantastic. But all I could think about, I know this is really sad and incredibly cliched to me, but all I could think about was, just imagine how good this will look in Elite. But I know it's true. I mean, that was some of the things we saw early on in the Kickstarter was these volumetric fogs, and it's going to look absolutely fantastic when we start going down onto these gas giants.
It does look very, very interesting.
Because I know everyone's saying about these, wanting the planetary landings and all, but there's going to be so much you can do. Well, no, okay.
What'd you do?
I was trying to fly down the canyon on the Impeccable, trying being the apt words there. Never mind. Yeah. But yeah, even without the planetary landings, you know, the fact that we're going to be able to go and go to these gas giants, and you're going to see all this detail and all this stuff on the weather systems and all, it's just going to look amazing. I can't wait to play with that.
I'm really excited. I mean, I'm really excited just to see what kind of stuff is going to come in later in the alpha, because the two new release headings that we've been given is pretty exciting. Travel and trade, obviously, two very important things that people are really looking forward to.
Yeah.
And outfitting.
Outfitting, yeah, which is the next one, isn't it? Outfitting. And,
yeah, I think so. And it gives you a rough idea what it's going to be, but it's also quite vague. Because you think, what does outfitting actually mean? Does it mean setting up your own loadouts? Does it mean being able to salvage weapons and equipment from derelict ships that maybe you blew up yourself? Does it mean being able to decorate your own ship and paint it orange? What does it mean?
Maybe we just don't know. And you know, this is the thing which I think, you know, a lot of people get annoyed because they don't know these things. I actually find it quite exciting. It's a really nice surprise. You know, it's like you hear these vague things, and then you know, when you actually come to see them in play, it's like, oh yeah, there's some fantastic things that are being added in. So yeah, I'm really happy with what we're seeing at the moment. So. But yeah, outfitting. I imagine we're going to have some sort of ability to at least tweak the loadouts of the Sidewinders more in detail, more in depth, and we're going to have that fine-grained tuning that at the moment we don't have. Ooh, I've got a Commander Alpha Backer 5641 something or other. There we go, 415, I think it is. At least I've got a player now. So definitely.
Oh yeah, and do you think? I mean, it might be quite a long shot, but do you think maybe outfitting Alpha might be the coming of a new ship?
I would like to say yes. I doubt it. I mean, I know they are probably frantically working on the cockpit of the Cobra right now, because we've seen the concept art. So I think it's very likely we're going to see another ship soon. But I mean, I've said it a couple of times before. I mean, I don't really want to see a lot of other stuff, because I want to kind of have that nice surprise when I actually play the game. So I mean, if they do show us a new ship, that'd be great. But at the moment, I don't think we're going to see that. I think we'd be seeing something more along the lines. I mean, what I hope we might see is a very basic space station. I'm thinking that's going to sound more realistic. I mean, if we're going to have the ability to outfit our ships, I think we're going to have somewhere to dock. It makes much more sense. And given the fact that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but on the right-hand systems panel, we've got the option now in the menu here. You've got rotational correction, which has been confirmed as.
That's the docking thing,
that's
isn't it?
the docking, yeah, exactly. So the feature is there, but currently not in use. So yeah, I think it would make sense. The next thing we're going to see is a very, very basic space station, probably a port, you know, a shipyard that we've seen in the concept art. So there's probably not going to be a lot to it. It's going to be very basic, and the same loadout, you know, same design for that particular shipyard. Not going to be anything complicated, but it's going to allow us to land and play around with docking. That is my best guess. Obviously, I have no idea, so I'm speculating a bit.
Peter Isk in the Twitch chat says there will be docking in 3.0. Michael said docking and outfitting.
Docking and outfitting. Well, there you go then. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. There we go. So yeah.
Well, I wasn't aware of that either. So maybe. Okay. I don't know, maybe it's contagious.
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, if you're going to be outfitting your ship, you're going to need somewhere so you can outfit it. So we're going to see something.
That is a good point. Yeah, I'd seen rotational correction as an option there before, but I didn't make the connection between that and docking.
Yeah, I didn't immediately know that. I had to go ask around, and I had it confirmed that that's what it was. So.
Oh, damn it, another empty instance.
I'm finding a few people, but I just don't seem to find you. I mean, have you had to do anything with your networking settings to get it working for you? I mean, have you set up port forwarding and that sort of thing, or did you just pretty much just jump in as it was?
I set up the thing that Michael Brooks says to get multiplayer working in.
Yeah, where you specify your IP and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but beyond that,
No.
I haven't had to do anything else.
Okay. Because I've actually, I mean, I was having issues with it. I mean, oh crikey, I was trying to remember actually. I will apologise profusely to Frontier for the last stream where I was saying like, no, there's something wrong with the networking, blah blah blah. No, it was entirely me. Where I'd been playing around with the settings for the previous version of the alpha, I didn't actually reset everything back before I started the stream. I couldn't really go change anything because if I reset my router in the middle of the stream, that would be a little bit disappointing for everyone watching. As my internet connection just dies. So no, it was all entirely my fault. So actually, my router does support the UPnP stuff that Frontier have been talking about, which makes it nice and easy if you haven't been cocking around with your networking settings. It's actually really, really simple to just fire it up and play, which is what I'm using now.
Oh, actually, Peter Risk says, I think there will be a proper space station. At least peak of the week indicates that. Was there a peak of the week this week? I didn't. Like I said before, I haven't been on the forums very much.
I haven't had a chance to. I've just been so snowed under with things, but definitely I will go check that actually.
Yeah, I'll have to check that. I'm almost tempted. I'm almost tempted enough to have a look now and stick it up on screen for people to see. I'm almost tempted enough to do that.
Well, I've got a quick break there now. The Impeccable's just been destroyed, and I've
got a quick break. My game's just crashed.
Oh no! I will try to load it. I'll go back into ethics and credits. Maybe we'll have more luck in ethics and credits, and I'll have a quick check on the forums. I can't believe I missed these things. I'm normally the one telling other people. What's going on? I'm slacking this week. What with all this work getting in the way, you know. Terrible. Right, peak of the week. What have we missed? I'm seeing no one else in this room.
I'm on the thread. Oh, I've actually got 2 notifications.
No, it doesn't look like there's anything new, unless it's a different thread.
There's a new Oculus screenshot.
Yeah.
There is. Oh no, I think he might be talking about the concept art with the Cobra and the Anaconda approaching that big sort of space station city.
Okay, yeah.
Thing. Yeah, that's not one I've missed, thankfully.
Okay, cool.
But it's very interesting. Another thing I'm looking at, and some more incredible concept art for the game. Absolutely incredible kind of things. That, is Josh Atack.
Oh, we go.
Stuff he's made.
Oh no, he has actually posted a link to a. Where on earth did you find that? It's a black and white image of a docking. Thank you there, Petrisk.
That was not on the peak of the week thread. At least it wasn't on the first. It's very interesting.
How did you find it? You were scanning through the directories. It's in a random directory on their server.
It might have been. Michael might just have not updated the most recent, the original post. He might have. Well, I think he does post them separately as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think there was a little confusion actually. I think there was 2 peak threads that have been started up for different things in different locations. One for the alpha and backers, and one in a different location. So I think there's.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to very quickly show that on the stream. People should just be able to see that now. So
yeah,
what we can obviously see there,
that
looks actually that sort of scaffolding coming out from the docking port that was originally shown in the sort of Cobra teaser, wasn't it, back in the Kickstarter? But that's obviously being a black and white picture. That's a little bit strange. But you can see the sort of Can you see the sort of control tower at the very end? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. And that someone's just mentioned on the thread there, actually, the Takiel's just mentioned there on the Twitch chat that there's a bottom left corner. There's a crime scanner and a cargo scanner. There's 2 different things there, which is interesting.
Ooh. So that would obviously be a nice tool for the bounty hunters.
Yes, absolutely. I might be getting one of those. You know, the more and more that I've been playing ethics and credits, actually, the more I kind of feel that I may end up going down the bounty hunting route. It feels like a nice fit for me. I kind of enjoy that sort of thing. Keeping the peace.
And also, That might mean something slightly more for, when you scan someone and it says they've got no record of a bounty rather than
Mm.
having none. Maybe that's what that's for. So when they've got no records, or maybe it just won't show a bounty at all until you've scanned them.
Yeah, possibly. It's these little interesting tidbits that I think
Yeah.
this is what the community seems to respond to, is these sort of things. I mean, I've been trying to think of things that would be nice. I mean, obviously the reason why I started streaming was to get the community involved and keep talking about the game, keep everyone happy in that respect. But I keep trying to think of things, like if there's like competition things or something that people would enjoy doing, that sort of thing. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, what is there anything you can think of? Anything you would like to see Frontier do more of? I mean, obviously the competition was a good thing, but is there anything else? Is there anything else they could do? It's a tough question, isn't it? I mean, I'll open it up to the chat. If there's anyone in the chat, things that they'd like to see Frontier do, then definitely give me a shout
It's
out.
it's a difficult question. To be honest, I would much prefer less community interaction, more actual work on the game. But it makes it sound like I don't think they're doing any work on it. But that's not the case at all. Just sort of saying, yeah,
Yeah, it's like you're doing enough. Don't worry.
yeah,
You've been working 24-hour shifts to get these alpha updates out for us and whatnot. It's like, chill. Just go relax. Go and work on the game a bit more, and don't worry about it. I know. I feel the same way. I feel like that. They're doing more than enough.
yeah. So I'm
Commander
not worried
Jan.
if they
Hi
just
there, Commander.
stopped, uh, or at least did less with the community. I wouldn't be concerned with that at all. I think it would make sense actually at this point
Yeah, yeah.
when they're so close to the initial deadline that they set and are currently on schedule to miss it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I was talking about this earlier on. I mean, the biggest issue with things like that is estimates are guesswork. That's all they are. And the problem is that people invest too much in believing it is to be in a solid concrete thing when it's an estimate. It's like, no, you're just thinking about it the wrong way. It's like you can't.
Yeah.
You can't look at something where it's like, yeah, we think we can get this to you in 6 months, sort of thing, and then kind of say, well, it's 6 months and a day. Oh my, you get really, really frustrated about it. It's like, it's just no point thinking about it like that. You cannot
Yeah.
you cannot get it right. You cannot predict everything. I mean, look at the weather forecast. We can't even get that right. So, expecting some unknown. I mean, they probably had everything working quite happily internally, network code-wise, and didn't consider, what would happen with some crazy issues when it was opened up to the public over the internet. I mean, they haven't got the ability to go and test that on a huge scale worldwide on all sorts of multiple machines. So it wasn't until that part of it was opened up that we actually got a look-see at the process, and we started to see all these crashes and all, and then it's like, oh yeah, never going to have to go back and have a look at what we've got these crashes and fix it. And to be fair, they've pretty much fixed every issue I've seen with the 2.1 release to the 2.2 releases, for the networking issues that we've been raised. So fair play, they've done a good job with that. But there was no way they could have predicted it,
Well, I've seen a few issues carry over, but it's certainly a lot cleaner. And obviously, it's not just bug fixes. There have been a lot of other changes as well. The loading screen, for instance, that was a nice little extra that people weren't expecting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've gone and put loads of tweaks and improvements in it. Like the player model for the cockpit is fantastic. I mean, particularly with the Rift on, it's fantastic. It really does kind of like fix you in the world. It's brilliant. So it's nice that they are kind of incrementally adding features and improving things, but still also nailing all those bugs as well, which is is really good. I think to be fair, they're going above and beyond for everything. I mean, we wouldn't normally see this sort of thing. I mean, when if in a normal situation, if a game was approaching alpha, they would probably get a couple of people they know around the world to go and log in remotely and try it out, and they test it with a few of the team members and stuff like that. We really are quite privileged to see the process evolving the way it is at the moment, so we can't really think of it as a delay in terms of that. If it was any other game and we didn't have the access that we do now, and the alpha was just happening behind closed doors, we probably wouldn't even be aware that there was a delay for anything, because there would be no announcement that they're in one part of alpha to the next part of alpha. You know, it'd just be quietly happening. It's kind of, in a way, it's because they've been interacting with the community more that people's expectations are so much higher. So I think people just need to step back, chill. So,
how are you doing in getting a scenario with other players? Was it ethics and credits?
Yeah, I'm in ethics and credits, and I'm not even getting any NPCs at the moment. I'm just I'm having no joy whatsoever. So what I might do actually is I'm gonna chance it, and I'm gonna jump into endless war and get destroyed on sight. But hey, let's try it. Maybe everyone's there.
Yeah, let's give it a go. How are you doing for money? I'm on 65k.
Oh crikey, I've got less than that. I got a little over 50,000, I think. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. Commander Jan there. She played Frontier. The main reason you backed Elite Dangerous. Absolutely, yes. Frontier Elite 2 was definitely my my entry point into the series. Oh, I've got some targets that just shot up on the radar.
Me too.
Phil Penthook, you played First Encounters for 7 years. What? You only just started playing 7 years ago? I played Frontier Elite 2 since the day I had it on my Amiga, and I was still playing it when I started this live streaming malarkey.
Ooh, okay, I'm just being demolished by about 5 NPCs now. There's no other players here.
Oh, whoa.
It's just NPCs. And there's a
whole bunch of targets.
bloody lot of them.
Yeah, I'm getting my backside handed to me quite rapidly as well, which is not fun.
We could try free for all. It's
That'd be
slightly
even more
less
fun.
team-based, and the players tend to be more spaced out and don't side with each other quite as much. I think maybe slightly less dangerous if we're lucky.
I'm fighting back, but I don't think there's any point I really am going to control here. I may just take him in. If I can just get one kill, that would justify entering the scenario. That would get a few hundred credits. See, that's another thing.
That's free for all. See if I can spot any players.
Yeah, that's another thing. I keep repeating it, but it is absolutely true. Is a lot of people are taking this this whole kind of scenario combat situation quite literally, like this is how the game is, and this is what it's going to be like. I know I've had a bunch of comments on some of my YouTube uploads as well, where people have been saying, it's like, oh, is this game all about combat? And it's like, no. It's like, you're missing the point. This is an alpha. It's not even a demo. This is like piecemeal sections of the game are being delivered to us for for testing, pretty much. Oh, I've just lost my cockpit window. And oh no, none of the HUD.
It's really quite a shame that so many people are expecting that this is almost the final product.
Yeah.
It gives a very skewed view of the game.
Yeah.
When we've been promised so much, and then people think, oh, this is a bit rubbish. You think, no, it's just a tiny.
Just stop. It is not ready. Yeah, no, it is kind of frustrating when you hear people talking about it like that, and it's like, no, you're missing the point. Frontier wanted to get the combat right first. That's one of the things that they received a heck of a lot of criticism for Frontier Elite 2. Everyone used to complain about the combat not being very good. I think it's just one of those things that you had to learn to get used to, because it was bloody hard if you didn't understand how the Newtonian mechanics worked. And I admit that outright. I mean, before I started doing the stream, I could never get the combat mechanics right in Frontier Elite 2. It was really, really, really difficult. I always used to get stuck in that jousting business where you're constantly flying past each other, and it was just impossible. It was really not fun at all. As soon as I figured out how to deal with that, it was really, really enjoyable. So I think Frontier Developments, they've gone the right way about this. They have decided, look, let's get the combat out there first. Let's get people trying it, get feedback on that, tweak it, and get that right. Once the combat is right and everything else, I think they're going to nail the rest of it. They know exactly how they want to do trading and travel, and the procedural generation we can see is already there. You know, we've seen all the planets in the backgrounds and everything like that. They're going to nail that absolutely. So I'm not worried about any other parts. But it is frustrating that people just don't see that yet. They think this, you know, this is it. It's just a fighting game. No, it's not. It's not all about combat. There's so much more, and I can't wait for it. I'm so excited to see it.
It's just the bug fixing that's taking the time, really, isn't it? I think because they've already got pretty much, well, they've got a lot of the code in place.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, we got a few questions come through on there. Let's have a quick look. Commander Jan played on the Amiga 500 years ago. Yes, I won't mention this.
500 years ago.
No, yeah. It feels a heck of a long time ago. Yeah, I have still got the 500 is here. It's not plugged in at the moment. I've got the 500 and the 600. I do have fond memories of playing that.
Oh dear.
Phil Penthux, you played from first encounters from 97 to 2004. Why did you stop? First upgrade you ever did on the Amiga there, Commander Jam, was just put the extra 1 meg of RAM in there. Oh dear, and an extra disc slot. Yes, I remember that. DF0 and DF1. Ah, those were the days. See, it's so much easier now with PCs. You don't have to be tweaking around with various things internally, and oh my god, it's so much easier. It's all just plug and play these days. Alright, I'm going to jump into free for all, see if I can find you. I'm going to get destroyed, but hey.
I'll jump back in again. I just got killed by a Cobra and a Sidewind. That was fun.
Yeah, I do have fond memories. I mean, I think putting the extra meg RAM in my Amiga 600 was one of the first upgrades I ever did, actually, and I destroyed the first one. I had to send it back. I had no idea about things like anti-static straps or anything like that. Didn't have a clue about anything that sort of way, so I ended up blasting the damn thing and breaking it. But yeah, whoops. You live and learn.
Penzak says the reason he stopped playing Frontier First Encounters was because he met a girl.
Oh.
Honestly, I think Frontier got there first. And,
yeah, I understand. I mean, I was, you know, into the old Quake 3 tournaments and whatnot, and then I met my wife and promptly stopped playing. Well, we didn't immediately get married, but we did eventually. I've got no one in this scenario, not even NPCs. Typical.
I've got NPCs and that's it.
Typical, because I'll
just blow up the Sidewinder, get my money in, and leave.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you can make a little bit of money back on there. See, one of the things that I did mention it to a few people on the chat actually was the Skype chat. That was the outfitting. Actually, I'm going to find that really interesting to see, you know, exactly how much detail we're going to be able to tweak around with it. Because when you look at these Sidewinders, oh, I've got a player. Let's have a look.
Oh, you've got a player.
Got a player. Is it you?
Let me know if another one appears because I'm just rejoining.
Oh, it's Alpha
and
Backer 561.
I don't see anything.
That's typical. We've got loads of targets, and I've got an Alpha Backer. And
once again, no players at all.
Oh, damn, we just seem to have no luck. Yeah, one of the things I was mentioning, you know, about the outfitting was actually, when you look at all of the different loadouts we've got in this current version, the variation is actually really, really surprising. I mean, everyone keeps going on about they want to see a Cobra, they want to see more ships and all that, and it's like, actually, in a way, it's like, no, I don't want to see more ships. I want to see all the variations of equipment you can fit on this one. I mean, the detail we've seen so far is actually really, really surprising. So, you know, when we got that outfitting section, we're going to have so much we can play around with. You add extra ships into the mix, and it would just be insane. You know, it's like madness.
I just want to be able to use a good loadout without having to pay for it every time I get into the game. I want to
Yeah.
pay for it once, and then that's mine.
Yeah,
Until
yeah.
something blows up.
And I think until we've got the whole kind of mechanic of the insurance stuff that's been spoke about, then I'm not sure whether we're going to get that. It would be nice though, but it is kind of frustrating. You spend all this time gathering credits and then they get lost. I mean, yeah, okay, it's an alpha, and what we're likely going to see is like you would see in a lot of other games in alphas, we're going to end up having server resets and all. So we're not going to carry these credits over into anything, so we might as well just spend them willy-nilly. But I'm actually noticing when I look on that balance screen there, 54,000 credits I got at the moment. I mean, when you look at that, the distance between the word balance and the credits is really quite large. I wonder what is going to be the upper limit on the credits you can earn in game.
Oh, inside the ship.
Yeah, on the right-hand panel there, we've got there's a heck of a space there. I mean, what sort of things are we going to get to? I mean, the top ships, like the Panther Clipper LX and things like that. I mean, they're going to be up into the hundreds of millions. I mean, what sort of range of credits are we going to be able to?
It's hard to know. I think the prices at the moment that we're getting for different things, it's hard to know how realistic the prices are at the moment. Because at the moment you're getting 300 credits per canister of iron ore, and you've only got 100 credits to start with the default, starting position.
Yes. Yep.
And so that right there isn't even enough for a single canister of iron ore, which you'd expect to be one of the sort of, well, at least I expect it to be one of the cheaper, more run-of-the-mill commodities.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is probably going to be, 350 credits for a canister of iron ore. I think is massive overkill. I think that's probably just placeholder for now to balance out the scenario. So yeah, I think that's going to be, and obviously it's going to vary based on all of the factors that we're going to see in the game, all the various, like people warring against each other. In some systems are going to be more of a quantity of it, so it's going to adjust the prices and everything. So yeah, it's. It is kind of interesting. I mean, when you look at these values at the moment, I'm going to go back to the menu and I'll flick through them actually. When you look at some of them, I mean, to me it looks like they're just an amount of money over the base cost of the ship. So we're not seeing the base cost of the ship added in, which I imagine is going to be up in the thousands of credits there for this ship. We're just seeing
you've got the free ones as well. Well, you have at the moment. But
yeah, exactly. And when you look at it,
to balance it out, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you've got like the bare bones with the 2 Class 4 pulse lasers, and then the needle with the Class 4 multi-cannon and the cargo-based scanner. So that would suggest that those 2 loadouts of equipment are the equivalent price of each other. But then when you look at something like the eyeball next one up, like a Class 3 gimbaled laser is 100 credits more than 2 pulse lasers, 2 Class 4 pulse lasers. So, does that hint at the fact that equipment like that is actually going to be more expensive? Gimbaled pulse lasers are going to be more expensive. So you're not going to be able to go straight in and everyone's going to be firing gimbaled lasers at each other because they are, more difficult to earn. You have to go in and get those credits to begin with.
But it's also quite a cheap thing, though, isn't it? Well, that is based on the prices that we've got at the moment. But 100 credits compared to, whatever, assume that the pulse laser loadout, the free one at the moment, is suppose that's a couple of thousand credits.
Yeah.
100 more credits for a gimbaled laser isn't that much.
No, not on the grand scheme of things. It's not a lot of money, and that's why I think at the moment these values are probably. It's very likely they're just placeholder. They're not realistically what the values are going to be. But I think it's an indication of their line of thinking at Frontier. It's like where they because obviously they've decided the order of these loadouts, and it's going to be based on even if they mean to or not, it's probably going to be based on what they know internally they're planning on them being. So I think it gives us an indication of where they think these things are going to fit in. Like so like I said, a couple of Class 4 fixed hard point lasers are going to be cheaper than ones which are gimbaled, which would make sense. So yeah,
it would.
Which one are you in at the moment? You in free for all?
I am in free for all. and it's just NPCs, and most of them appear to be annoyed at me.
Yeah, that's what normally happens to me. Let's give it a go. Right.
Oh, this one's getting away. That's not fair. Come back.
Just going to check the chat briefly whilst I'm...
Oh, it's a cobra. I hadn't even noticed it was a cobra. I was just so occupied with shooting
away.
it. I should actually start targeting subsystems then. Do you do much subsystem targeting, or do you just tend to shoot?
Yeah, shoot first, target later. But no, I do try to use it. I mean, I haven't honestly seen that much success in using it. It just kind of seems to be a bit random to me. I don't know if I'm not doing it right, but when I do try to target things, they don't always work as well as I would hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I've been, since I got voice attack, it's been a lot easier to use the whole subsystems thing. And actually, I'm so glad that I've started exploring it, because it's opened up a whole load of possibilities. A few players I've managed to sort of, I just like making them squirm. Because I'll sort of be following them, I'll take their shields down, and I'll get them to about 50% hull, which is around about enough to take out their drive.
Yeah.
And then they don't have, they're not able to swivel around and target me. And, so I'll sort of hover above them and aim at their weapons and take those out, so that even if they can look at me, there's nothing they can do about me. And then they're just sort of slowly
just watch them die.
Yeah. And so I can watch them just sort of slither around for a little bit and sort of, limp off into the distance. But normally I'll leave them with a broken life support and just let them get on with it. The shame is you don't actually get to claim a bounty if you break their life support and they just die from it. You don't get a bounty for that.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm thinking is most likely is when we have the full game available to us, I think you probably will have the option to because you'll see the things like dead or alive, sort of wanted things. I imagine we are going to have the ability for someone to surrender at that point, where it's like, right, I'm totally screwed. Yeah, you've taken me. If you don't assist me, I'm going to end up exploding. So I give in, sort of thing. I think that's going to be. Oh, which one is shooting me? There you are. Sorry, distraction there. Yeah, I think we're very much going to have the option, to say, right, yeah, okay, come with me into my brig, and I'll I'll take you back to the nearest space station, but you're not going to die. You're just going to be sent to jail.
Yeah, I definitely recommend having a look around with subsystems, because you can have quite a bit of fun with that.
Yeah, I think, like you said, once I have something like the voice attack thing, I think that's going to work really well. So
yeah, and that's definitely worth having to play around with.
Let's try.
I don't know if you know about prices for that, but I mean, anyone else who's watching who doesn't know about prices, you can get it for free, but then you've got sort of one sort of series of commands that you can use, and you've got a limit of 20 commands for that one loadout, as it were. But then you can, if you pay £5, you can have unlimited loadouts and unlimited commands in each one. So so you can get on with it for free, and you can play Elite quite comfortably for free. But it's quite a small price tag to open up a hell of a lot more possibilities. Oh dear. This isn't good. Yeah, I was playing around with voice attack on a live stream the other day, and sort of exploring that and showing it off to people just the day I got it sorted out, and people seem to like it. I think I don't have that as a watchable video on Twitch. I might save that so people can have a look at that at some point. If you want to have a look at that, or look at my channel tomorrow. Look at my Twitch channel tomorrow, and that should be up if you're interested in having a look at the possibilities of that, because I covered that fairly in depth. And my pulse laser's taken a lot of damage.
Do you know, I'm actually just tried doing some subsystem targeting there, and yes, that is fun. I think it's definitely been made more effective since the last version, because I could never seem to get it to work correctly. But now I can see the indication down in the bottom left.
Much more noticeable.
Yeah, you've got the little health bar. I'll try and look at it for a second whilst I'm shooting. You've got a little health bar of the subsystem. I've selected the cargo hatch by mistake. Don't want that power plant. There we go. Let's try and take out the power plant. And
that's basically the warp core, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you can see it taking a lot more damage now on the actual subsystem you selected, rather than just the hull strength going down and the thing eventually exploding anyway. You're definitely seeing.
And it's actually easier to take one out without having to blow the ship
completely
up
destroy
first.
it. Yeah, exactly. Which
Yeah,
seems
'cause I was struggling with that before. I thought, I want to take down a subsystem, but every time I try, the ship blows up before I can actually do enough damage to it. But it's easy to do that now.
And that was always my problem when I was playing the single player scenarios, is they just didn't seem to be able to do enough damage. Actually, that is a good point. I don't think anyone's gone back to the single player scenarios and see whether these changes have affected those. That's definitely worth doing.
I guess Stigram's probably been playing around.
Well,
I'm not sure that he. I don't know if he's been playing around with multiplayer at all, but he certainly has his heart set on the single player.
Well, the last I heard, he hadn't played since the 28th of December, wasn't it?
Oh right.
No, he's he's very much interested in the single player. But no, I think it'd be interesting to see whether or not that has had an effect on those things. Oh no, he's gone. I got his power plant down to about 40% then before he completely destroyed that. I've got 40%.
Is asking in the Twitch chat, Kerrash, what do you think about the ship voice, which they've because they were talking about that, weren't they? In one of the was that what the meet the team?
Yeah, they've alluded to that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The audio designer was working on a possible voice for the ship because bleeps and bloops on the console can only tell you so much.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to have something like that. I mean, I think it's going to have to be an option, because some people are just not going to want it. But yeah, it'd be nice to have the option to have it in. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking that I don't know whether I'd want them to spend too much money on doing something like that, if it's just going to be a toggleable option to turn on and off. I think the sound design that they've done so far with the various effects that you're seeing, they work so well. They're very subtle, but they work. So whether or not spending the time and the money and the effort of capturing voice actor and putting it in is going to be worthwhile doing it, I think it's the jury's out on that one, I think.
But if they assume they did make a voice for the ship, how would you want it to be? Because you've got the sort of typical sort of Star Trek computer voice, a sort of robotic female-esque tone.
The kind of cliched sci-fi voice.
And then obviously at the other end of the spectrum you've got your sort of sarky Holly from Red Dwarf.
Oh yeah, I want that one. But then that is something which Elite could do well, is they could just be modules that you could purchase and remove and upgrade and everything like that. And that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about the earlier versions of it, the fact that if you wanted to, you can take out the autopilot. Yep, you're pretty much dooming yourself unless you can manage it, but yeah, it's all completely expandable in options, and that's why my default argument with everything, every question is always option, give me the option, let me choose. But yeah, I mean, definitely if there's a module that you can buy to have the sarcastic Holly voice, that's going to be the first on my wish list, I think.
And say you could get anyone to be the voice actor for this computer voice. Who would you want to get in to do that?
Oh,
that's quite tricky.
That is a difficult question, I think.
You could go for the sort of tired choice of Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I think that might blow the budget though.
Maybe slightly.
I wouldn't mind something like Felicia Day. I think that would be nice because it would have that nice kind of like female computer voice, but it would still kind of you kind of expect her to kind of come up with something a bit like, "Ooh, ooh, the shield's down," you know, which I think would be quite nice. Give it a bit of personality to it. But yeah, so someone like that I think would be quite funny. Ah,
What about if, because there's certainly been a lot of offers from the community, haven't there? Say things like, "Hey, if you need anything done." So, you know, maybe you could get a Psycho Cow ship computer voice module.
Yeah, that's going on my wish list as well. Hang on, that would be hilarious actually. I think Psycho Cow's alluded to. Was it you wanted a sound font pack which should change your ship's computer to have various effects? I think that would be really hilarious actually. And Petrus there has just mentioned something actually. Yeah, I was aware of this actually, that David Braben has invested in a company which has voice synthesis technology, which is very interesting. That was something I would like to see, but I think realistically we're probably not going to see it. But definitely having something like you could interact with those NPCs on the bulletin board systems, looking for jobs, and actually they would come up with, you know, a reasonable dialogue from text.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool to have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of variations of NPCs that you see on these comms chatters sort of thing. That would be really cool. But we know that, you know, they've gone and said that, yeah, at the moment there's NPCs are going to be talking with text chat. That's actually been confirmed and talked about a lot by various people. So, you know, at the moment we're probably likely only going to see text chat going back and forth between NPCs. But, you know, if David is interested in that technology with the voice synths, I would like to see it. Maybe in a future update we'll see that sort of thing. It would be nice to have those sort of things added as we can.
It'd be quite interesting if Elite turned out to have a better text-to-speech software than Windows.
Yeah, that would be really, really freaky actually. But, you know, a lot of these things do tend to go like that. You see these technologies which are initially intended for games, and they end up being so cool, you know, and so usable and friendly and everything that they kind of feed back, and you start to see them in things like mobile phones and stuff. And these features just start to bleed through. Locutus there, I think most Star Trek fans would probably want Kirk or Spock or possibly Seven of Nine as their computer voice. No, I am seeing no one again in any scenario. I'm having no joy at all. So whilst you're doing that, actually, I will go and have a quick blast at the single-player scenario that I was just thinking about, and seeing if I can actually target some subsystems on Anaconda. It's worth it.
Ooh. No, okay.
Oh,
you do that, and I'll have I'll keep blowing up some more sidewinders on this free-for-all. Get some more money.
Gotta get the cash up. Tahil, does anyone remember the computer's voice in the first 2000 AD film? The film was rubbish, but the computer's voice was pretty good.
I never watched it. There's, yeah, lots of classic sci-fi films that I haven't watched, like 2001: Space Odyssey. I haven't watched. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh.
I don't know if it counts, but Flight of the Navigator, I've seen a little bit of.
Oh, do you know, I've got all of these DVDs. I tell you what, after we do the stream, if you send me your postcode, and I'm gonna send you all of these DVDs, you have to watch them.
Are you serious?
we're gonna have to get you to watch them. There's so many references which have popped up in you know, in the Elite lore and stuff like that, which are references to these sorts of things. I think it's, you know, you won't get half of these things that people have spoken about unless you've seen films.
I didn't get any of the NPC names until Alien on the live stream mentioned Conrad Fry being a reference to Futurama.
Yeah.
And immediately I got that one because I've watched Futurama.
Yeah.
And there's no way I couldn't have watched Futurama, but yeah, that's the only one I get. I mean, I think she said she liked the Cat Jonesy one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Closest thing I can think to that is Cat from Red Dwarf, but I don't know where Jonesy would come in. You know,
no, I can't remember exactly what it was now. I mean, I don't know all of the references, but I definitely I've picked out a few, and I quite like some of the references that they've put in there. which is all good fun, and I like that sort of thing. I think that's really nice that they're adding it in. It kind of keeps you guessing. It's a nice little nod to the community, being fans of a lot of other genres and sci-fi franchises and whatnot. So it's nice that they're adding those sort of details in, I think. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to get. I mean, do you have anything like Netflix?
I do have Netflix. Yes.
Netflix. We're gonna have to see if we can find some of these things on Netflix for you.
Yeah, I'll definitely have a look, because that might save you a bit of money on postage stamps.
Yeah, it'll take a few.
Yeah, and Bat Crazy Roy.
Oh, Bat Crazy Roy.
Quite a nice NPC name, which I quite like. The closest reference to that I can think of is Roy from Coronation Street, who obviously bears quite a close resemblance to David Braben.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not where it comes from, but that's all I can think of.
No. There we go.
So which ones do you know? Because I might be able to twig on a couple of them if they're explained to me, but having not seen a lot of these things, I've only watched, when it comes to Star Trek, I've watched Star Trek Voyager. I've got the box set for that, and I've watched a little bit of The Next Generation, but beyond that, I've not watched any really.
Well, I think there's a couple of ones. I think Daisy Howe is one that points out to me, because the ship's computer in 2001: A Space Odyssey was called HAL, and when it's being shut down at the end, spoilers, it starts singing the song Daisy as it's being turned off. So I think that's a reference to that. There's a couple of other ones.
It sounds good enough.
Yeah, I think they are subtle, and I think they're subtle enough that they're whoops, there's an asteroid
so they
there.
can avoid the copyright.
Yeah, but still get the kind of fans to look at it and nod and go, yeah, I know what you're doing. Whoops. I've been spoilt with the gimbaled laser now. You go back to some of these single-player scenarios and you realise how difficult some of these weapons can be.
Power distribution is inoperable. Oh dear.
Oh no!
Yeah, down I go. No idea how much money I made from that, but I'm sure I made a couple thousand.
Should be enough.
Yeah, I noticed in single player, actually, I had a quick look at the combat scenarios thing, and it's locked all the scenarios again.
Yeah, I think they had to do a reset when they upgraded to the latest release. So yeah, a little bit annoying. That's why I was just thinking. Then I'll go into one of the scenarios with the Anaconda, and I realised that hang on a minute, I haven't played any of the other scenarios since. Damn. But never mind. It's good to go back to these again. Actually, give you a little bit of a change of things. It's nice to see the system again, in this full cockpit with the character and everything in place. And I can see it's under a blue light of the local star. Obviously, it looks like it's a yellow.
Oh, it's actually, rather than my commander name in single player on the right-hand console, it's got my computer name.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, One Viger PC.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that.
That's certainly different.
Whereabouts is that got?
On the status window, on the right-hand thing, where on the right-hand side, where it tells you your bats and everything.
It does, yeah. Everyone's just saw my computer name now, which is a really sad computer name. I apologise.
I'll have to quickly look over at your stream so I can find out what it is. And laugh at you.
Well, I've got the Rift on, so it's probably too blurry for most people to see, but it's
damn.
It's Bruiser, because I was I was sat there. It's that kind of point where you always you're doing the Windows install. It comes up with that stupid prompt. What do you want to name your machine? It's like, I don't care. Just install. So you just punch in the first thing that comes to mind. And what was I thinking? Well, I just put it together. It's an entirely black case with blue LEDs and everything. So I was like, oh, it's black and blue. Bruised. Okay, Bruiser. It's just the dumbest thing ever, but it just kind of popped in my head. And I thought, yeah, that's what it is. And it's been stuck that way since I put it together. But hey.
Well, for me, one Viger PC makes sense.
Yeah.
I got this computer after I'd already come up with my sort of go-to username. I could have just called it Viger PC or James's PC, but I thought, no, that's too boring. And obviously, there's more than one Viger in this house.
Yeah, makes it tricky. Right, one more, and I think I can get to the Anaconda. I'll just check the chat a bit quick. Sorry if I've missed anyone in there. So it's difficult with the Rift on, obviously. Petrus there saying, yeah, are you trying to employ someone there, Petrus? If people are good with voice synth algorithms, yeah. No, it is an interesting area of research. It's something which I've been keeping an eye on a lot myself for over the years. Actually, was voice synthesis, because it's one thing I always thought that particularly RPG style games could benefit a heck of a lot from. And because you see a lot of these RPG games, and they always default back to that text-based chat when you're dealing with NPCs. And we just don't seem to have progressed anywhere from then. And I think, with the technology that we've got available today, we could do some really, really interesting things with voice synthesis and stuff. I mean, you can imagine an RPG with all of that, like text data is all, voiced, actually synthesized properly. You could have so much dialogue in an RPG, and it would be so much more immersive if it was properly voiced. I think it's something I'd definitely like to see.
I'm noticing that the starfield on single player seems a lot more sparse than multiplayer. There's a few brighter stars, and there's a few areas of the sky where there's sort of
clusters
bigger
of,
clusters, of... Oh, I just told it to restart the scenario. Whoops.
Yeah, that is something which I think they've mentioned it before, that the backgrounds probably, I think they're just placeholders at the moment, but eventually obviously they will be generated based on your location within the Milky Way. So if you were in an area which was quite sparse, in terms of star density, then you would see much thinner background like this. But yeah, it's
God, it's exciting, isn't it?
I know, it's like there's so much which is just on the horizon, but it's just I want it now. I want it now. I've waited long enough. There you are. I can see you off in the distance there.
Actually, I'm trying to take out some subsystems without gimbal weapons. Does it not actually... It used to give you a sort of target location.
Yes.
For where that subsystem is. Does it not do that anymore?
No, you used to get that little cross right where the subsystem was. No, you just don't seem to see it anymore.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
maybe it doesn't matter where you hit the ship. I'm pretty sure it... I thought it did.
Okay, that's interesting. The Federal fighter doesn't have a life support subsystem.
Eh?
No. Never noticed
Maybe
that.
because the ship's so small, it's and because it doesn't actually go anywhere, it can just simply resort to a person's own personal life support system in their outfit. Their
maybe
flight suit or something.
That would definitely make sense. What is that? That is the Cobra, and he has spotted me. Well, Mr. Cobra, as you spotted me, I know I'm supposed to avoid you, but I will.
Oh, I'd blow him up anyway. I always do.
Oh, that's interesting. He doesn't have life support as well. Perhaps it was something in the early scenario that they basically didn't bother putting in life support into the NPC ships, maybe. Right, let's try the bad karma. Yeah, perhaps they just decided to, make that where you see that crosshair reticule. If you hit that spot on, you've targeted a subsystem. It's adjusted automatically so that you'll be hitting that subsystem when you see the lead indicator.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. I mean, rather than kind of cluttering up the UI with extra icons and things like that, if you're targeting but you want to target a specific part of the ship, then yeah, just offset the cursor slightly so that you're going to be targeting the bit you want to hit.
Have you got the time on you?
It's nearly 9 o'clock actually. We'll probably have to come and put a pause in the stream actually, or call it a day if you want.
Well, I don't know. We could certainly have a break. I was just going to go grab a drink because you probably heard me coughing quite a bit. I've got a bit of a cold, so
Yeah, no. Oh, no, yeah, it's no worries. Yeah, if you want to grab a drink and actually,
I'll just pull up Crimson Triumph and there we go.
Just one more ship.
Yeah, so I'd certainly like to have a break at this point.
Yeah, that's no worries. I will put a break in the stream. By all means, if you want to shoot off, I will catch you shortly.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back in a bit.
See you.
See ya.
Okie dokie, folks. I will pause this where I'll have a quick break and catch up with you in a little while.